mainly because of the red line sign. That's the whole issue. Grace Rio has invested a lot of money into the hotel, and we welcome that in Henley, and it will market the Red Lion Hotel throughout the whole world with new signage. The reason why I'm in difficulty is that if we say approval of this without an amendment, and of course we can't amend plans because it's not there, then we run the risk of the planning committee actually accepting our view. So I'm going to try this, which is approval of this planning application, subject to the original Red Lion sign being retained above the entrance canopy. So they can have the relay sign as in the planning application, but I'm sure that Henley residents and Henley people would want the recognition. You know, the Red Lion feature, the stone Red Lion, is staying, and that's already been recognised. But underneath the Red Lion original wooden sign should be refurbished and should be present, as well as the relay sign. So therefore, I'm proposing that for the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that seconded? Thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak?
I would
Yes,
just
go ahead,
say I
please do.
absolutely agree with Councillor Devonshire. I think it's you know, the Red Lion Hotel, that's always been in Henley. It's part of Henley. I know it's a sign, it's a note, but I can't imagine it not being anywhere on that building. So yeah, yes, we can keep it somehow.
Would any other councillor like to speak? Yes, Councillor Clark, go ahead.
Could the relay sign be put down the side on Thames side or instead of over the front door?
Yeah, well, they've suggested two places, haven't they? It's the frontage and the side as well. And what I found a bit disconcerting was that there was no image of how that is going to be expressed on the hotel frontage. So that does give me reservations as chair of planning. Okay, well, we have a proposal. It's been seconded. It's for approval with conditions. All those in favour? Thank you, that's carried. Okay, next one on the agenda is P21 S1764. It's a household application and it's 15 St Mark's Road. Councillor Plant.
Approval.
Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Clark. Would any other councillor like to speak? No? Okay. So we have a motion for approval. All those in favour? Thank you, that's carried. And the next one is P21 S1777. It's a household application and it's 3 Niagara Road. Councillor Gavshak.
I propose acceptance. I mean, there were some comments on the website that it would dominate the neighbours. But in fact, this is for a single-storey extension on the back of a double-storey. The double-storey has already done the overlooking, if you like. So the single-storey will not impact on the neighbours, in my opinion. So I propose acceptance. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that seconded? Councillor Plant, thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? No? All those in favour of approval? Thank you, that's carried. P21 S1843, and it's a listed building application. Jodie.
I have no objection to this subject to satisfaction of the conservation.
Thank you. Councillor Knott.
I think it's like approval subject to conservation officer.
Thank you. Is that seconded? Thank you, Councillor Gavshak. Would any other councillor like to speak? No? Okay, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. That's carried. Over the page, we have this application again, they're connected, so I'll take them together. We've got P21 S1918, it's a household application, and P21 S1921 is a listed building application. application, and it's for 14 Hop Gardens. Jodie.
Thank you. Again, I don't have any objections, subject to the satisfaction of the conservation officer.
Thank you. Councillor Plant.
Approval subject to conservation. I think the difficult part, and I know has been mentioned by the Henley Society, is the secondary glazing versus double glazing. But as far as efficiency, considering the environment emergency, there's no comparison. Double glazing is so much more efficient than secondary glazing. I think I looked at the study that I pulled up, and on a 3-bedroom house, changing the windows from kind of single to double saves £150, whereas secondary glazing saves half of that, so 75. So I think on efficiency alone, as long as the conservation is happy with the always put in, it's a yes.
Thank you. Has it been seconded? I've lost. Councillor Clark, thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? No? Okay, all those in favour of approval? Thank you, that's carried. Okay, no, I'll just remember to. Next one, P21 S1952 is a listed building application, and it's for Halifax PLC, which is on 48 Bell Road. Thank you. And the next item on the agenda is P21 S1969. It's a householder application, 54 St Andrews Road. Councillor Gavashak.
Propose acceptance.
Seconded by Councillor Plant. Thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? No. All those in favour of approval? Thank you. That's carried. The next two I'll take together, which is P21 S2024 listed building and P21 S2023 householder, and it's for Little Hope Cottage, 59 Northfield End. Jodie.
Thanks. So this is to demolish a conservatory and replace with an orangery. It will be on the same footprint, be single story and be to the rear of the property. There's no comments yet from the conservation officer, but I have no objections to this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Gravishak.
Propose acceptance subject to conservation.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Plant. Would any other councillor like to speak? No. All those in favour of approval subject to conservation officer? Thank you. That's carried.
I like it. Why is it called an orange?
Must go orange with a girl.
It's an orange.
It's an orange tree.
It's not on the space of my flat.
Next item on the agenda is P21 S2034. It's a householder application, and it's for Paradise Farm, Paradise Road. Councillors. Councillor Plant.
Approval.
That's seconded. Councillor Gavashak. Thank you. Would any councillor like to
I
speak?
was going to say, great to see solar panels going in. It's more
Yeah.
efficient than encouraged, so fantastic.
I was surprised this what isn't listed actually. You know, would any other councillor like to speak? Okay, all those in favour of approval? Thank you, that's carried. Dear, oh dear.
Oh, no.
Right, next item on the agenda, councillors, is P21 S2037, and it's a householder application. I'll take them together because this is connected with the next one, which is P21 S2039 listed building, and it's for 4 Fairmile. Jodie.
Did we miss one then?
No.
Oh, I missed it, sorry.
That's a
I
householder
missed
one.
it. Okay, let me catch up. Yeah, so I have no objections to proposed windows and doors to match the existing. So again, I'm subject to the conservation officer. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors. Councillor Clark.
Recommend approval, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Seconded, councillor Flance, thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you, that's carried. Next item on the agenda is P21 S2040, and it's a householder application for 50 The Close. Councillor Gavashak.
I propose that there have been some comments on the site about parking on the road being restricted, but there are the space for two cars parking on site, so therefore there's no objection. So I propose it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, councillor Miller. Would any other councillor like to speak? No, all those in favour of approval? Thank you, that's carried. The next item on the agenda is P21 S2086. It's a householder application and it's for 106 Luca Avenue. Councillor Plant.
Approval.
Thank you. Is that seconded? Thank you, councillor Clark. Would any other councillor like to speak? No. Okay, all those in favour of approval? Thank you, that's carried. Next item on the agenda is P21 S2107. It's a full application. I will actually take these with the one below and the one below that because they're all connected. The next one is P21 S2108, listed building, and P21 S2109, advertising. They're all for 25 Marketplace. Jodie.
Thank you. So this is a long historic plot and there's proposed changes to upgrade the retail space to include takeaway in the cookery school as well. The primary use of the building will remain unchanged with the majority of use falling under use class E, which is commercial business and services. The local plan states proposals for this use will be permitted within town centre boundaries, so I have no objection to that. In terms of the signage, the design guide does prefer lettering painted onto the fascia, which would be more appropriate, and a traditional style hanging sign, but there's similar signs nearby, so I have no objection to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Gavashak.
Chair, I have difficulty lumping these together purely because of the last bit. I have no objection to the fall, I have no objection to the listed building, I do have objection to the signing. That's the problem. The problem is that we prefer wood painted, and there is no, it does actually say illuminated, but it doesn't actually say how it's going to be illuminated. We completely object to backlit signs. We want signs like the Citizens of Vicar with the lights shining on it. So could I ask for your indulgence to actually separate them if possible?
Of course,
please,
yeah, okay.
So
I'll take the top two.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the full application, the listed building. Okay,
Right.
and then I'll take the advertising separately.
Can I propose acceptance of those?
Okay, thank you. Is that seconded, councillor Miller? Thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? Councillor Palmer wants to speak.
It was just on, it's a good time to submit the planning application because the flats next door to it have no inhabitants. And it's just from where the Argyle is, I know that the flats next to that, as it were, are complaining heavily at the moment about the ducts from the kitchens onto their property, as it were. And it's a little bit like the duct at the back of Crockers. Like if you walk through there when the kitchen duct is running on full, it completely spoils the area. So it's just, I can't help but feel the duct's position basic
To the councillor Gavashak proposal.
against it.
No?
Have I got a secondary, councillor Miller? Would any other councillor like to speak before I put this to vote? Okay, all those in favour of approval? All those against? Okay, thank you. that's carried. Okay, let's take the advertising. So that's P21 S2109, 25 Marketplace. Councillor Gavshak, would you like to speak again?
Yes, just simple, can I propose refusal on this particular one, and the reasons are that it does not follow the shop front guide, which it would, and with external illumination as part of it, so therefore I propose refusal. Thank you.
Actually, can I just make a point, Councillor Gavshak? You have mentioned the awning. As far as I'm aware, the awning is not in the shop front guide, as in, am I correct, Jodie?
I would have to check.
Councillor Gavshak?
You will have to advise me on that, whether you want that included.
Because we don't have any other awnings in the town centre.
Okay, I will include that if you think that's.
You've got Cafe Rouge, so it's not a direct town centre.
And particularly with Barbara.
Because the way it's photographed now, it has an awning and it has seats, and I mean that could just be illustrative. But
It says here logo on morning and vinyl sign. So
it doesn't even include that in the guidance. Is it not?
Does it include table and chairs outside? Table and awning? No? If it does, it's going to block the pavement up for blind people.
well, let's see. As we're proposing refusal, let's include that. So I propose refusal on grounds that the
It would just
planning
be
officer needs to
consistent.
look at the awning, and we don't like the sign, and we don't like the illumination of it. So we'll
Yeah.
propose that. So it wraps everything in.
Yeah, we're just trying to be fair on all of the other traders in the centre of town. Okay, do we have a seconder? Councillor Plant, thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak?
Just that, should we have a look at the front shop front guide and maybe look to include awnings, because it came up with, not spoon. Got it.
Is it Crockers?
What's my favourite coffee shop? Lawrence and Lucy, the berries, that's it. Camel with berries warning as well. So maybe we look to include some sort of guidance on warnings where they can be used and what we like.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that we need to do.
So I think aesthetically they can have something in the town centre. So got no objections against them, but maybe include it in the guide to make sure that they use what we like.
Yeah, we should go and speak to the planning officer at SADC about that as well, the planning manager.
Everyone gets that.
There are other coffee shops.
There are lots of other coffee shops to go to. Okay, councillors, so I think we have a good summary of what we need with this refusal. So did you get everything down, Kathy? Do you want to to sum up?
You can sum up. No, I got it.
Yeah, okay. All right. So it's
I
been
can't remember what I said.
It's on your plate.
Oh, it was a whole 5 minutes ago.
Everything you mentioned that, if you can be brief.
Yes, I will sum up. I took my customary 5 minutes around and stuff. No, I won't. Thank you.
okay. Thank you. It's been seconded. All those in favour?
This is for refusal.
Yes, this is for refusal. Yes, you've stated the reason as well. Okay, all against? Okay, thank you, that's carried. Right, thank you, councillors. The last one is P21 S2118. It's a household application and it's for Rabbit Close. Councillor Clark.
Brilliant.
Thank you. Is that seconded? Thank you, Councillor Clark. Would any other councillor like to speak? All those in favour of approval? Thank you, that's carried. Right, let's turn back to our agenda. Next item on the agenda is number 14, and it's to note the objections and call-in applications. Do we have any that we would like to, Councillor Gavshak?
The only one I can think of, and that's council, so I will call it, is the red line. I think that should be called in. Because clearly the signage of that is important. So that's one.
Councillor Gavshak has that proposal. Is it seconded?
Can we call it if we recommend it?
We recommended approval just for the advertising refusal.
Well, we
Just the-
recommended approval subject
Oh,
to,
subject to,
So,
so, yeah, so, sorry, I'm mixing up the other.
the
so-
answer is the district councillor can call in any application, anyone.
Yeah,
So, even if it's for approval to be discussed.
okay, so you're calling it in, is that seconded? Councillor Romans, thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? Okay, let's vote on this then, all those in favour? Thank you, that's called in. So you'll send that email tomorrow, councillor Goshack. Would you mind copying me in?
Yep.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is 15 decision notices. Can you please note that we've read those and noted them on page 25? Thank you. Next item is 16 permitted development application. Just to note, it's P21 S1690 and it's 27A Manor Road, loft conversion boiler. Thank you. And item number 17 is the appeal decisions, Town and Country Planning Act 1990, appeal against refusals. We've got two to note, and that's for 253 Grays Road. I don't know if you've had time to read through the decision. It was very interesting, wasn't it? Because that is one that I really did think would be dismissed. Councillor Gavin, do you want to speak?
Yes. I'll speak about both of them if you like briefly. Yes, and I'm sure Councillor Arnold will be hugely disappointed with 253 Grays Road, because there was a planning application for two, and then the appeal carried on, and it's been approved three. Well, we can't do anything about it, and the inspector has spoken, so that's the end of it. Although, turning to good news, I think the Balmahan decision, and I would like to actually pay tribute to Jodie on this particular application. But the real bonus is this, that we're really grateful to Jodie for her planning expertise, because when she spoke at it was an unusual inspector's hearing, because normally what you do, you have, I speak for 2 minutes and then I shut up and go away, and the planning officer, Jodie, speaks for 2 minutes and goes away. The inspector didn't do that. She said, I'd like you to stay for the whole time, and I'd like you to chip in on occasions where appropriate. And she went through the affordable housing, she went through the character of the settlement, she went through the traffic in order. So therefore we had to stay in a way, which was good. We had to stay for 4 hours, but great credit to Jodie. She came up with all the right sentences to do with planning rules and regulations. And in fact, it was a good decision. It was the correct decision on this particular thing. So therefore, thank you, Jodie, for doing that. Thank you.
Yes, vote of thanks for Jodie.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I know you put a lot of work in as well, Councillor Gavshak. Yes, two very interesting decisions there, and I don't know about you, councillors, but you know these are such interesting insights into the planning system. I find with these sorts of inspector decisions. Okay, so that's just to note those, and let's hope we don't have any more. Yes.
Is the 253 Grays Road decision then, that's now final?
Yes.
Final? Yeah.
So we have no go.
Nothing we can do.
Don, one person has spoken. End of.
Yeah. There are a huge amount of conditions, as you will see, as you have seen in the, but it's still not a decision, obviously, that we agree with. I thought we would
Can I ask
win.
one question?
Yes, Councillor Clark.
Our planning committee here, we do what we want for the town and what we don't want for the town. So people that appeal against it, they go to SODC, and these officers over there pass it. Now, they don't live in Henley, they don't know Henley, They don't know the circumstances of Henley. Now, why are we letting them get away with it?
We don't have the power to, unless we physically call in an application, which we have to do in this committee, we don't have any power. We're not even a statutory consultee, and that's the truth of it.
Well, this is what really annoys me. You know, we
I think all of that power was it 1974 that those powers were diminished? Yes, Councillor
Sorry, just to
Gavshak.
comment, Councillor Clark, it would need primary legislation, so you need to have a chat with Robert Jenrick, Conservative Housing Minister, to say, would you make it so that all parish councils have the final say on planning applications? And he will say,
that is my
I would like,
you should.
we're not going to do that.
Okay, let's move on. We've still got quite a lot to cover. Number 18, consultation, proposed car club parking bay. This is to discuss and decide upon the response to the proposed car club parking bay. And it's the site is proposed at the A4155 Reading Road. Councillors, do you have any comments for me? Yes, Councillor Clark.
The A4155 is a long road.
Yes, where
Can you tell me where they're going to
we
park
actually
it?
have a map of where they're proposing.
There's a link to it in the agenda. It's between Perpetual Park Drive and Fairview Estate near the bus stop. So across the road from Newtown Gardens and Wilson Avenue.
So it's going to be on the top of Newtown Gardens Newtown Industrial Estate.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Councillor Gavshak, did you want to speak?
Yeah, it's just to say, I think we should give full backing to this. The reason why this is needed is so that it spreads to the car club at two ends of the town, behind the town hall and also down the Reading Road. And so therefore I propose that we fully back this proposal for a car club.
Thank you. Is that seconded? Yes, Councillor Clark. Thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak?
If I may, Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead,
I
Councillor
live in
Clark.
the local paper, there's a business down in Newtown Industrial Estate, who are hiring out cars and vans, they've just recently started up. But basically, in my view, why don't we give them the business instead of having a car?
That's a different proposal to the one that we've got here. Okay. So we're just considering this proposal this evening, so you don't have to vote for it if you don't want to. Okay. So the proposal is for acceptance. Would any other councillor like to speak? No? All those in favour of acceptance? Thank you, that's carried. Okay, let's move on. Number 19, we've got the Climate Emergency Working Group. It is to receive the minutes of the Climate Emergency 2030 Working Group. The documents are attached. Now, there are a couple of recommendations, so if we wouldn't mind to actually turn to the page, the relevant pages, I have got them highlighted. There are a number to go through this evening, if you approve. Right, so you've got...
Yes, just the one that we've got a separate agenda item for.
Yeah. Isn't it just 4.1?
Yeah.
To approve the Henley Environmental Action Plan?
Page
So
40.
this one's just to approve the minutes and then that is the minutes. then the
Oh, I
next
beg
one-
your pardon, I beg your pardon. Okay, yeah, let's approve the minutes then, which is number 19. Do I, yeah, Councillor Plant, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Hinton, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you, that's carried. Right, so we're now on number 20, the Environmental Action Plan, which is 48. Now we have number 5, which is on page 48. Yeah, would you want to? Do you want to? Or is Patrick or-
Patrick will tell you what that is.
Would either of you like to speak, or both of you like to speak to this item?
We can sit in council, obviously.
You're very
Yes.
patient waiting for us.
I will speak and then Patrick will speak, because it's actually a proposal from both the town version working group and also Green Henley. It's recognition that the council has a town version declaration. As well. It's linked both to biodiversity, but it's also linked to biodiversity. Once we have the council's agreement, we'll then go out saying we'd like to do this, but actually that there'll be plans put in place and actions reported on a regular basis. So it's actually taking us from a nice to do to a plan which we wish to achieve over the next 10 years. The spreadsheet at the back is actually my best knowledge. Some of it may be wrong in terms of committees, some of it the council may have actually got actions already in place. But more importantly, is for the council committees to actually review the action plan, identify where they're at and how they want to go forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really, all I'd like to add is that yes, we've got there's a joint action between the climate working group and Green Henley, and so those columns are well filled in. And recruiting groups A, B, C, D, and F, which could be Women's Institute, the Rotary Club, it could be anyone, it could be someone like Phyllis Ford. We're not going to be prescriptive about who those might be. But I think it's just to emphasise that it is a joint plan for the town, and that we're not going to succeed if we don't involve people. And probably most of all, and most important is the last column, which is individuals. And I think that if we, as a community, and with leadership of the town council, don't reach out to the people of Henley and get them to buy into this, we're stuck. So it's going to need a change on everyone's part. It's going to need everyone's engagement with this. So we're setting quite a high bar here. We're really putting out a plan that we hope that town council will sign up to, Henley sign up to it. We hope that other groups will sign up to it, and we hope that we can engage with people as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor, do you have any questions? No? Okay, thank you. Councillor Plant.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think it's great work, and from my small bit of time looking into the vehicle strategy and bits like that, it's wonderful to see a document like this created so that we can all work together. It also means that as councils and councillors change over the next decade or two, that we have a piece of document that we're working to and we're accountable to. I also think it's great with our new communications manager at the town council that we can look to share this not only on our own website but social media, but also with the help of the Henley Stand and the Henley Herald to promote the hard work that is being done, and hopefully call out more volunteers to get involved, because otherwise there's a few hands doing a lot of heavy lifting at the moment. Like you say, just reading through the list at the moment, it's going to take many to make a decent impact on this. Otherwise, the few that are doing it currently will be burnt out and exhausted by the time it's done. So I think if we can have a call to action to get more involved, that would be wonderful. I know that there'll be maybe a couple of town hall focused events over summer that residents can come down and talk and find out more information from. So I think some stuff like that would be wonderful. Good luck.
Thank you. Would any other councillors like to speak before we? Yes, Kath would like to speak.
Yeah, I'd just like to clarify that if the committee decides to approve this, it's not committing all the committees to following it. It's just that the plan will be taken then to other committees to discuss and refine their targets and objectives. So it will need to go to other committees for approval as well. This is just planning, approving the concept of it.
Yes, indeed.
We not make
Thank
it
you for that
legally binding for
clarification.
everyone, that's all.
No, we're not allowed to.
So I'd like to make a proposal from the chair. I'd like to propose that we accept 4.1, which is, and I'll read it now, to approve the Henley Environmental Action Plan as recommended by the Climate Emergency 2030 Working Group at its meeting held on the 14th of May 2021. Minute 63. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Miller, thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? All those in favour of approval? Thank you, that's carried. And may I just congratulate everyone on the Climate Emergency Working Group for all of your hard work and dedication. It really shines through. You really are a credit to the Town Council. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is 21, which is the Neighbourhood Plan Committee. It's to receive the minutes of the Neighbourhood Plan Committee, the meetings held on the 19th of April and the 20th of May, and to consider the recommendations therein. And the documents are 53 to 62. We can turn to 53 to 62. Okay, so first of all, you've noted the minutes, and on minute number 85, which is transport and environmental policies, would either of the officers like to speak to this item? No? Or do you want to?
I do. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. Well, it is to neighbourhood plan committee members. I think also we've got one on minute 83, it's page 55.
Have I missed one?
So page 55, little 6. Regarding the survey, we've got another recommendation there.
Oh, survey, okay. Would you like to speak to that one? We're on page 55, if you wouldn't mind turning back, councillors. Would you like to speak to that one?
Well, Community First Oxfordshire produced a survey and we sent that out to every resident in Henley and Marks, so we had a good feedback of over 750 people responded to the survey. So this is just to recommend that that is taken forward and is part of the evidence to support the plan. Thank you.
Councillors, do you have any questions? Do you have any statements? Do you have any proposals?
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, to go forward. I was also going to say, if you haven't read it, it's actually not as dry as it sounds. Actually, a lot of the answers were quite interesting to see what people found.
Yes,
as their priorities. So I would actually say have a glance through it, as it were, if you haven't already.
Yeah, we did have a very, very good response, which apparently is unusual. So we have a really engaged, we have really engaged residents in Henley on Thames, which is fantastic. Okay, so that's seconded, thank you. Councillor Plant, thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? All those in favour? Thank you. Okay, back to the EBPD, which is a report that ACOM have been working on with Henley Town Council on page 56. Would any other the officers like to speak to us?
So yeah, work's kind of moved on since then, but we had some external support on our draft policies and evidence base, and we've used that to redraft the policies in preparation for public engagement, which is happening in July, exhibitions on the 2nd and 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors, do you have any questions or comments? Okay, I'm going to make a proposal from the chair then that the planning committee resolve that the climate emergency 2030 working group and neighbourhood plan committee members integrate the conclusions and recommendations of the EBPD report into the emerging draft policies for the neighbourhood plan. I have a second for councillor Grant, thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? Okay, all those in favour? Thank you, that's carried. Okay, next one. Right, any more there, 11?
No, it's the next one, 97 and 98.
Page 61.
Yeah.
Page 61, councillors. We're looking at minute number 97.
Is it lazy to take them all together? Because they would, well, we've been through them with good recommendations.
I'm
We can bore everyone to death who doesn't sit on the transport strategy as soon as they sit on it.
I think let's not confuse, they are quite lengthy, so I think we will actually take them.
I'm actually enjoying it.
Come on, councillor Fox. We're nearly there, councillor Fox, stay with us.
I was there when they were done.
Jodie, would you like to speak to either of these minutes?
Okay, so this one is for the draft vision and objectives. The Neighbourhood Planning Committee have worked through the existing vision and objectives to update those and to improve them, definitely increase the wording and to ensure they meet our necessary climate emergency declaration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillors, do you have any questions or would you like to make any proposals? Councillor Gavashak?
I would really welcome Councillor Clark's views on this particular one.
I think the key is in little two, and then little the one afterwards that it falls to Jodie. Yeah,
I'm going to read them out. I'm going to propose them in their entirety. Okay, so listen up. Okay, I propose that we
Councillor Clark summing up.
we resolve to confirm the inclusion of the existing policies on the themes of social and community infrastructure, retail and town centre, employment and design quality to be included within the revised joint Henley and Harpsden neighbourhood plan, and that the final wording and content of the policies and supporting text is delegated to the planning officer. Is that seconded? Councillor Clark, thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? All those in favour? Thank you. And new policies, item number 98. Would you like to speak to that one, or is it?
This is just new policies specifically around environmental and transport issues. Really.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions, councillors? Any statements? No, I'd like to propose from the chair then that we resolve to confirm the provisional preferred policy approaches to be included within the revised joint Henley and Harpsden neighbourhood plan, and that the final wording and content of the policies and supporting text is delegated to the planning officer. Is that seconded? Councillor Plant, thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? No, all those in favour of approval? Thank you, that's carried. Okay, next we have item 22, which is the progress report for applications called in. Yes, councillor Hinton.
I was looking at this and I noticed from my SADC emails that there's a site visit arranged for 18 Harcourt Close
Oh, thank you.
on the 7th of June before the SADC Planning Committee meeting on the 9th of June.
Thank you.
So just to prove that I read all of my SADC emails, even planner.
You do very clearly. By the way, sorry, Chair, I'm substituting for Councillor on that visit. Because he's a little immobile at the moment. And I'm also substituting for the next planning committee meeting for him as well.
Okay, thank you.
Which includes the discussion of 18 articles.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Jodie, I was just going to ask, do you want me to confirm that with SNDC that you'll be attending?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other updates to note?
Just the old Foundry 47 you recommended.
Yeah, so that can come off. Thank you. Let's move on to the last item, which is the progress report, item 23. Do any councillors have any observations for this report? No? Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
So, sorry, councillor.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
just one on the gravel hill of Marlow Road, as councillors are aware, those were approved at county level. And Kath has already been in touch with John Beals, the planning officer from OCC, to actually cost the schemes. And those figures will be coming shortly to the planning.
Thank you for that, councillor Gashak. We'll get that updated. Yes, Jodie.
And just Balmoral can come off now.
Yes, indeed. Balmoral can come off as well. That was the one previous, yeah. Okay, right. I think that's, yes, Kath.
Last thing, the last item here, the double yellow lines on Elizabeth Road. This was something that the committee recommended we look into back in February. Having had a site visit with the officer from OCC, he suggested that instead of double yellows, we do a white junction protection line that goes around the corner on both sides. This would be at no cost to the council. If it didn't work, it can be overpainted with yellow if we wanted to go down that route. But if we do want to pursue double yellow lines, then you have to pay for a traffic regulation order, and that's in the order of £3,000. So,
Councillor Gavashak, did you want to make any comments on this one?
Well, I agree with Kath. Let's try the single white line. So it could be with another set of yellow lines or other things going forward. So we'll try it for the moment.
Yes, okay. Councillor Plant.
Are they ticketed in the same manner? Like, what's the?
No, it's.
Because SABC get the money for yellow lines, that's a good investment on their part, they should pay for it,
No,
and reap
no.
the rewards of the fines.
It work like that, but the white lines are only advisory. Let's put it like that. I think it will encourage people not to park on them. That's the important thing.
Don't put the down in the advice.
Yeah. That is the whole problem.
Are we actually talking about the top of Valley Road and around the corner on both of the two sides?
No, not Valley Road, Elizabeth Road, where it joins Grays Road, the T junction. It is dangerous because people are parking right up to the corner. And
It's dangerous.
yeah, it's dangerous.
What they did in Friday Street when that lorry got stuck.
You like lorries coming through there?